Chapter 4, Shaping Your Vision, Vector Graphics and Masking. Section 4.1, Drawing with the Pen Tool, Creating Custom Shapes and Paths. Section 4.2, Shape Layer Modifiers, Repeating, Trimming, and Twisting Vectors. Section 4.3, Masking Fundamentals, Hiding and Revealing Parts of an Image. Section 4.4, Modern Track Mattes, Using Alpha and Luma to Composite Textures. In Chapter 3, we focused on organization, taming the timeline and managing complexity. You learned to be a good editor and project manager. Now, it is time to put on your artist's beret. Up until this point, we have primarily moved assets that were created elsewhere, photos, video clips, or Illustrator files. But After Effects is not just a compositor, it is a powerful vector illustration tool in its own right. I remember when I first realized I didn't need to jump back and forth between Photoshop and After Effects to create simple design elements. It was a liberation. Suddenly, I could build, modify, and animate graphics entirely within the software. In this chapter, we are going to master the internal creation tools. We will draw custom geometry, build complex patterns procedurally, and learn the art of hiding and revealing the secret sauce behind effective compositing. 4.1 Drawing with the Pen Tool, Creating Custom Shapes and Paths. The pen tool is arguably the most feared tool in the Adobe ecosystem. It feels unintuitive at first. You click, and a line appears. You click and drag, and suddenly the line curves in a way you didn't expect. If you have ever felt like the line is fighting you, you are not alone. However, mastering the pen tool is non-negotiable for motion graphics. It is the key to drawing custom shapes and creating motion paths for objects to follow. The golden rule: click versus drag. The behavior of the pen tool, G on your keyboard, changes based entirely on your mouse action. Clicking, tap and release creates a corner vertex. This creates straight lines with sharp angles. Think of this like a game of connect the dots. Clicking and dragging creates a smooth vertex with Bezier handles. These handles pull the line into a curve, acting like magnets. Figure, detailed technical illustration of an After Effects composition window showing a shape path. The visual highlights three specific vertex types: a square corner point, a smooth point with balanced handles, and a broken point with independent handles. Labels clarify click to create sharp corners and click plus drag to create curves. The mouse cursor is visible hovering over a handle. Modifying your path on the fly. The frustration usually sets in when you place a point in the wrong spot or curve it the wrong way. Do not delete the whole path. Use your modifier keys. Ctrl+CMD on Mac while the pen tool is active. Holding this key temporarily switches to the selection tool. You can move points you just placed without changing tools. Alt-Option on Mac. This is the Convert Vertex tool. If you click a smooth point, it snaps to a sharp corner. If you click and drag a corner, it pulls out handles to make it smooth. Practical exercise: drawing a simple wave. Let's try a quick exercise to get the feel of the physics. Select the pen tool from the top toolbar. Make sure no layers are selected in your timeline. Click in the empty gray space. Click once on the left side of the composition viewer. Move to the center, click, and drag to the right. You will see the line curve. Move to the right side, click, and drag to the right again to complete the wave. Figure, a split-screen screenshot. Left side shows the initial click and drag action creating the first arch of a wave. Right side shows the completed sine wave shape with the fill disabled and a bright 10px stroke enabled. Annotations imply the direction of the mouse drag. If the shape fills with color and covers your line, look at the top tool menu. Click the word fill and select the none icon, the white box with a red diagonal line. Then, click the word stroke and choose a solid color. 4.2 Shape Layer Modifiers, Repeating, Trimming, and Twisting Vectors. One of the distinct advantages of After Effects shape layers over Illustrator vectors is that they are procedural. This means we can apply mathematical operations to them to generate complex geometry without drawing it manually. These operations are found in the Add menu, tucked away inside the Shape Layer properties. The magic of trim paths. If you want to animate a line drawing itself on screen, like a route on a map or a neon signature, you need trim paths. Create a shape layer with a stroke, like the wave we just drew. Twirl down the layer in the timeline. Click the small Add button, circle with a play icon, next to the contents label. Select Trim Paths. Figure, close-up screenshot of the After Effects timeline layer stack. The shape layer is expanded. The Add menu is open, creating a drop-down list. The cursor is highlighting Trim Paths. Other options like Repeater and Wiggle Paths are visible. Once added, twirl down the new Trim Paths property. You will see Start, End, and Offset. Change the end value from 100% to 0%. The line disappears. Click the stopwatch next to End to set a keyframe. Move forward 2 seconds and set End back to 100%. Play it back. Your line now draws itself perfectly. This is a staple technique for HUDs, heads-up displays, typography, and map animations. The repeater. The repeater does exactly what it says, but with a twist. It duplicates your shape and creates a virtual array. If you draw a single small circle and add a repeater, you initially get 3 circles in a line. But if you dive into the repeater transform properties, you can change the position to 0, 0 and increase the rotation. Suddenly, those circles form a perfect ring or a burst pattern. This is how motion designers create complex, kaleidoscopic backgrounds using only one simple shape layer. It keeps your project light and renders fast. 4.3 Masking Fundamentals, Hiding and Revealing Parts of an Image. Here is a point of confusion that trips up almost everyone. Masks and shapes use the exact same tools. If a layer is selected and you use the rectangle or pen tool, you create a mask. If no layer is selected and you use those tools, you create a new shape layer. Memorize this distinction. If you are trying to draw a new square but keep cutting a hole in your footage, it's because your footage layer was selected. The cookie cutter concept. Think of a mask as a digital cookie cutter. When you draw a mask on a video layer, After Effects looks at that shape and asks, what do I do with the pixels inside this shape? By default, the mode is set to Add, meaning it keeps the pixels inside and removes everything else. Figure, a side-by-side comparison. Image A shows a full video frame of a landscape. Image B shows the same layer with a circular mask applied, revealing only the center of the landscape against a black background. The Mask 1 property in the timeline is highlighted showing Add mode. Feather and expansion. Masks are rarely perfect immediately. Usually, a hard edge looks fake. Twirl down your layer -masks-mask 1. You will see. Mask feather softens the edge of the mask. Essential for blending layers. Mask expansion grows or shrinks the mask area without changing the shape path. Pro tip: if you want to highlight a specific subject in a video, duplicate your video layer. On the top copy, draw a mask around the subject. Now you can apply effects, like brightening or color correction, to only the top layer. The subject will pop out, perfectly blended with the original footage below. 4.4 Modern track mats, using alpha and luma to composite textures. Masks are attached to the layer they affect. But what if you want to use a complex animation, like a splattering ink blot, to reveal a text layer? You can't easily draw that with a mask. This is where track mats come in. A track mat uses the visual information of one layer to define the transparency of another layer. The new workflow, selectable track mats. In older versions of After Effects, the matte layer had to be directly on top of the fill layer. This created messy timelines. As of the recent updates, 2023 and later, we have a much better system. Let's say you have a text layer and an ink splash video. You want the text to appear inside the ink splash. Place both layers in your timeline. Their order does not strictly matter anymore, but organization helps. Look for the TRK mat, track mat, column in the timeline switches. If you don't see it, press F4 to toggle your switches modes. On your text layer, grab the pick whip icon, the little spiral, in the TRK mat column. Drag it and connect it to the ink splash video. Figure, Close-up screenshot of the timeline columns focusing on the TRK matte section. The cursor is dragging the pick whip spiral icon from a text layer to a video layer named ink_splash.mp4. The interface clearly shows the connection line between the two layers. The ink splash layer automatically turns off, becomes invisible, and its shape now cuts out the text. Alpha versus Luma. Once you link a matte, you will see a small icon appearing in the TRK matte box. You can click this to toggle between modes. Alpha matte uses the transparency of the matte layer. Example: a PNG logo with a transparent background. Luma matte uses the brightness of the matte layer. White equals 100% visible, black equals 0% visible. When to use which? Use alpha when your matte is a shape or a transparent graphic. Use Luma when your matte is a video file, like ink, smoke, or fire, that is black and white but doesn't have transparency data. By mastering shape layers, masks, and track mattes, you have graduated from simply moving pictures around to sculpting the visuals yourself. You now have the power to create custom UI elements, blend footage seamlessly, and texturize your designs. In the next chapter, we will look at how to take these shapes and compositions and manipulate time itself. Figure Mindmap, Chapter 4 Concepts, Root, Shaping Your Vision, Branch, Pen Tool, Node, Click equals Corner, Node, Drag equals Curve, Node, Alt-Op to break handles, Branch, Shape Modifiers, Node, Procedural Nondestructive, Node, Trim Paths for Line Animation, Node, Repeater for Patterns, Branch, Masking, Node, Selected Layer equals Mask, Node, Deselected Layer equals Shape, Node, Add vs Subtract Modes, Node, Feather for Blending, Branch, Track Mattes, Node, Use one layer to cut. Another, Node, Pick Whip Workflow, Node, Alpha uses transparency, Node, Luma uses brightness.